There once was a legend that terrified the people living in a small remote village tucked away in a thick forest. They talked about the Devil's Mark, a terrifying occurrence that had affected their people for many years. From elder to child, the terrifying story of darkness and hopelessness was passed down. Mark, so the legend goes, was a cursed symbol carved into the foreheads of people who had succumbed to evil spirits. The mark was seen by the village as a sign of impending disaster, an indication that the bearer's soul would always be tarnished and would suffer for all eternity. Nobody knew why or how the Devil's Mark materialized. All that was known was that it did so suddenly. It was said that people who had the mark would suffer from agony, and their once tranquil lives would fall apart. It seemed as though the forest spirits took great pleasure in their agony. The village was engulfed in superstition and terror. The villagers gathered in their homes each night and prayed for protection from the evil forces that could be lurking outside. In this atmosphere of fear, Elara, a young woman, was marked with the menacing symbol. Elara had always had a curious mind and a desire to learn more about the secrets of the forest. She had a good reputation for kindness and was well liked in the village. But her inquisitiveness frequently caused her to venture farther into the forest than the other villagers dared. Elara entered the heart of the forest on a fateful evening when the moon was low in the sky. The thin veil of darkness that shrouded her was only slightly penetrated by the weak light of her lantern. She had no idea that the spirits were interested in her inquisitiveness. A sudden chill ran down Elara's spine as an otherworldly presence swept over her. A sharp pain shot through her forehead as she froze. Her fingers trembled and met a raised, burning mark on her brow, the infamous Devil's Mark. She staggered back in terror, but it was too late. She had been claimed by the spirits, and they would not let go of her soul. Her footsteps had a strange, rhythmic cadence as she returned to the village, as though she were being drawn by something invisible. The Devil's Mark stood out against her fair skin, causing the villagers to gasp in shock upon seeing her. Sighs of sorrow and hopelessness resounded among the people. Her formerly cordial neighbors avoided eye contact, thinking that her presence would bring bad luck to them. Weeks passed, and Elara's behavior became more and more unpredictable. She would talk in cryptic riddles and warn of the approaching wrath of the spirits as she would aimlessly stroll through the village. Fearing that the curse would spread, the villagers shut her up in a run-down little hut near the edge of the forest. While the village slept one moonless night, a terrible storm swept through the forest. The earth shook with thunder, and the twisted trees were lit up by lightning. When the villagers awoke, a fire that appeared to have originated from within the small hut had destroyed it and left Elara alone. But she was nowhere to be found. The villagers gathered in fear afterward, thinking that Elara's vengeful spirit had broken free and been let loose by the flames. A haunting, resonant laughter carried on. The wind was heard in the distance as they searched the forest for any sign of her. As a constant reminder of the sinister forces that lurked deep within the forest, the legend of the Devil's Mark persisted. The girl who had been marked by the spirits and the darkness that had engulfed her was never forgotten by the villagers. The story of Elara and her Devil's Mark was a somber warning that one should always proceed with caution when venturing into the unknown, since evil forces could be lurking there, ready to trap the inquisitive and the gullible.